Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to our Wednesday show. We have our no longer guest but co-host, El Coach on, and we have big news. He was the 15th place finisher in BBM. It's pretty exciting. I was sweating along with you. How does it feel, sir, to have that under your belt and just walk us through everything that was going through your head?
It's pretty great. Honestly, the first time in my life I think I've ever bragged about being 15th in anything. So that's something there. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. Because this like my first year really getting into basketball pretty heavy. Um, Used to just kind of dabble in it at like, birthday parties and stuff like that when you're bored after the gifts are being handed out. You can just kind of like tuck away for half an hour and draft a team. This summer drafted a lot more, and had quite a few best ball. I had nine best ball team or nine BBM teams that made it through, and then only one advanced out of that first round. So I learned how crushing that can be.
That first
But
round is
that,
rough. It's so rough.
yeah, that was nuts. And then was feeling really good after the next round because I had Pickens and Puka who just went nuclear. And then that last round is crazy when you just look at the other 440 teams, and you know it was great. It was like a Sam Laporta support group, a lot of Sam Laporta being represented, which was great to
So
see. But it's crazy, man. It's a lot of the same teams. So yeah, you definitely try to build a little bit different. I did not have a Kyron Williams, which would have probably been the difference with that hat trick. But we put up a
Dude,
put up a real
who
good
was your
score.
18th round pick? Was it Puka?
Yeah, I believe it was Puka. I also had real dumb homer pick Evan Hull for the
Hey, I was
Colts.
kind of in on Evan Hull.
Yeah.
Considering
Uh,
Zach Moss did as well as he did, like if it was Evan Hull, you know what I mean. Process before results. So
yeah, you know, that was fun. But yeah, late round Kyron definitely the hero for that one because he put up what like 30 points, something like that. So I'm not going to complain about late round Puka. Puka was great, helped the squad all year. It was a lot of fun. 10th round Penny, a mistake I'm not going to repeat as many times. That was pretty great.
yeah, that was Penny. What did I think he had like 30 yards the whole season or something like that, like something crazy like that. But I
Yeah,
mean,
he
I still
contributed point 0.8 to the squad this year. So
point
he
eight.
got in the lineup once at some point.
Hey, he's on the championship squad and he contributed. So that's all you can ask for.
I'll take it.
Um, yeah, so one thing I just wanted to mention was yeah, I was sweating with you and there was two plays. There was a Puka play where I think he got tackled at probably like the 2 or 3, so he doesn't have that long speed. That's the one thing he doesn't have
Yeah.
is the long speed. He has the agility, he has kind of like the bruiser type where he can break tackles. But that one I was like, "Oh shit, that would have been real. That extra 6 points would have helped you." And then I think Rasheed Rice, same thing.
Yeah.
He had like a really long play where same thing. Like I think he runs a 4.5. Like he's fast, but he's not like a burner. So
Yep.
couldn't pull away. But I don't think it would have put you in first, but I definitely think it would have put you probably. I'm not sure what the people in front of you had. They might have had probably some Puka and some Rushy Rice, but definitely would have boosted you up a little bit. But I mean, hey, can't complain about 15th, honestly.
It was wild. Yeah, I mean, 10 more points would have put me top five, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, was really hoping for an AJ Brown blow up game that did not happen because I was one of a handful of teams that had him and CD because somehow CD in my draft slipped to the second, um,
That's
which
crazy.
was yeah nuts. I was like AJ Brown, CD Lamb, we got this in the bag. But it was definitely CD and Amon-Ra St. Brown that brought home the mail for everybody. I had so many wide receivers that week with like the 14 to 15 to 16 point games, and I just needed
You needed like one or two more to just boost you up. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you're what, 25 or something like that?
yeah,
Four?
fourth round Brees Hall. That's not going to happen again anytime soon.
Just
That
got him
was
at 306 in startup. Let's go.
so great, man. Yeah, he's going to be fun to watch next year. But yeah, that's I think the big takeaways. I mean, really just scooping up that value on the running backs that we kind of saw in late round 3 and round 4 with some of those guys. Um, and then you saw a lot of the wide receivers that were taken in round 2 didn't really kind of pan out compared to what was around them. So that was pretty tough.
Yeah, it's hard. I think we're gonna look back and that like yeah 2-3 turn and a little bit. Oh, I guess Amari Cooper probably that wasn't 2-3 turn. That was probably like whatever. That was more like
Three, four,
third,
yeah,
fourth turn. But that whole range, it was just none of it hit.
yeah,
And I don't want to say like they're bad bets because I still think like some of those like those kinds of guys like the year two, like the Olaves and the other kind of T Higgins, like I think there's a lot of outcomes where they do have big seasons, but this year definitely did not pan out. Honestly, the whole like second and third round
yeah.
were pretty bad. Like Josh Jacobs was a complete dud. Derrick Henry was a complete dud.
Alvin
Ramondre,
Ridley.
yeah, it was bad. But I think we'll have to do a show um going over kind of like what we think like the first few rounds will look like in terms of redraft. Obviously, there's a lot of moving pieces still, but just
Yeah,
what early what's going on. Just because I think yeah, I think it's weird. The one thing about best ball is that, like, it's so different every year. I think people try to take a lot of like, oh, well, this is how I drafted last year. I'm going to just copy and paste it and put it onto next year. And I think you want to take away things, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But I think you really want to be fluid with it and not lock yourself into something just because it worked. Even if it did work before, I think that
yeah.
uh, can bite you in the butt. So.
And I mean,
Um,
like just the variations you'll see up top too. I mean, I think the guy that won had Lamar too, right? And that was like one of the few only early QB teams that was left. I mean, that's pretty. That team was ridiculous, like almost 200 points.
I mean, and it was kind of a weird team. I think he had. I'll have to pull it up, but he had. I think he had like only like 5 or 6 wide
Yeah,
receivers.
yeah,
But they were just the ones you needed at
yeah,
that time. So it's pretty crazy.
yeah.
So anything else about your team or like just when was it drafted? That was one thing I wanted to ask. I think it was late August, probably, right?
Yeah, late August. That was I noticed there's definitely a good window in kind of like mid to late August. I feel like I had some of my best teams in there. I had the three that finished in the regular season prize money um, were drafted around that time, so really liked that. I think the big thing that I enjoyed about it was like the just the cheap QBs we could get this year. Like Brock Purdy was hella cheap. Dak Prescott
Way
hella
too
cheap.
cheap.
And I mean those guys like just they carried quite a few of those squads. I don't think you're necessarily going to see that again. A lot of the teams in the finals too had Jordan Love. So really just kind of leaning into some of that uncertainty and taking a few risks when you do build out those teams. Kind of like you were preaching earlier last summer, where it's like you want to find ways to get unique, find those stacks that other people might not have access to, and just kind of take those stabs to see where it ends up.
Yeah, I think one of my friends, Mathology, who is a big DFS guy, he was on earlier, I think in like August or September, and in one of we did a Rottweiler draft, which I think was like a whatever $400 or $500 buy-in, and we like flipped the board and we took Jalen Hurts at like the 1-2 turn with Devontae Adams, which didn't end up working out, but I think there's some like game theory stuff that you can kind of play around with because I think, yeah, like we were saying, that 2-3 turn and all those wide receivers. I think it would be interesting to try. Like, I know we don't want to waste bullets because you only have so many,
Mhm.
So I'm not sure. I'll have to think about like when is the best time to do that. Maybe it's earlier on when you think you can get some good ADP value, like late on other players,
Yeah.
instead of late when it's kind of like who you're getting. I'm not really sure. I'd have to theorize on that. But I think, yeah, like getting some whatever, because if you're going to be taking the same guys and run the same spot, there's going to be some changes with ADP over the summer, but like within like whatever, once you get into like August or like when there's in those different pockets, they're going to look pretty similar. So
Yeah. I would say that having conviction on player takes is awesome when it goes right and
hey,
terrifying when it goes wrong. When it goes right, shout out Sam Laporta, the GOAT. When it doesn't go right, get a lot of round 15 Jeff Wilson and Rashad Penny and round 10. It's great.
hey man, I think that's another thing that a lot of people have talked about is like targeting those offenses where um we missed on some of them, like the Chargers. We thought,
Yeah.
I mean, Keenan Allen panned out until he just shut it down for the season, but like the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Bengals, like so many quarterback injuries. The Chiefs are just a weird one too. So
Yeah.
I still think that's the right move, in terms of like those are just going to be fantasy gold mines when you
Hmm.
do find those. So yeah, I think I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. So I don't know what are some other things that you like think are good takeaways from this season and things that we can take and go moving forward.
I mean, really continuing to lean into that uncertainty. I would, you look at like where the most value was um, extracted from this offseason, definitely the Rams. So I need to get better at following like beat writers and stuff like that. But yeah, like paying attention to those uncertain situations can really pay those dividends. Because I mean, those guys, Kyron and Puka, how are those not like the MVPs of the fantasy season? Because you find 250 to 300 points. It's laying around in round 17, round 18. That's ridiculous.
Supercharges their team, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like that's such a cheat code. So really just trying to find that out. And I mean the coin flip that was Jordan Love too. I mean, you drafted him around some guys that ended up not really doing much of anything. But that's pretty nice coin flip when it goes in your favor that heavy, especially down the stretch. He put up some really nice numbers. Um, so yeah, I think it's just kind of being committed to taking those chances that maybe you wouldn't traditionally take, or you got to kind of like the crystal ball gets a little fuzzy to see where it goes. But yeah, I think there's just so much value in that uncertainty.
Yeah, there was two things that I kind of called out. And I think it just goes kind of with like how long the contest is open, but drafting rookies, especially for people if you are tapped into the dynasty community, and like I know I'm a complete sicko, and I think I've only gotten more sick as the times went on, but I'm like already like diving into stuff, and I have been the last couple weeks because I'm just sitting on so many. I think last year I wasn't really sitting on that many picks. Um, I'm still new to Dynasty. This will be my third year, so like I'm still pretty new, and I think I moved a lot of my 24 or my 23 picks, not like realizing that I should probably hold on to them and are like the real value of them. So yeah, like I'm just like salivating over all my 101. I have so many 101s this year. It's crazy because I just like I tanked early when I could.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that's a huge edge. Is just like when the contest first opens right after the NFL draft, you already know who everybody is, and you can just capitalize on that. And
yeah,
then I think there's a time period in the beginning where you can kind of take advantage of that before the ADPs adjust and before people really you can kind of look ahead and be like, okay, are these guys going to be um, steamed up, whatever, just based on what we've seen in the past, and just we know rookies are going to get steamed up. I mean, how many guys, whatever, late round tight ends, Laporta,
oh
Musgrave,
man,
Kincaid even was going super late. and whatever everyone else. But I think that's the time to take those shots. And then I think I'm gonna do less. I'll probably draft on stream, but I don't want to like be going heavy in that like May, June, May,
Yeah.
June time period, that kind of dead zone. Because I don't really think there's really anything you can gain from it. I think maybe like starting like mid-July to like August is when you'll get some more information and you can gain an edge again. But um so yeah, rookies early, and then once you have like solidified situations where like you know who the RB2 is or whatever, then just hammer those guys late.
Mhm.
I think is going to be my strategy, but we'll see. I mean, I'll still be drafting periodically just because I won't be able to stop myself. But
That's the appeal. Like that's the hard part, is saying no to those drafts in May and June. It's like it's great. It's great 40 minutes, you know?
hey, when you're just in the summer and you're just chilling, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit slower at work, whatever, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna hop in.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I'm excited. Hey, I'm excited for you, man. You got the bankroll, and you're gonna be diving deep. I love it.
Really can't wait to max enter next year and just strike out completely. It's gonna be great. Like no way that backfires.
Hey, I mean, at least you can go through the process. At least you can
Yeah.
now you can be like, okay, 150 drafts. How does it feel? I feel like it's a lot of drafts. Like I've never done that. I probably did do 150 drafts 2 years ago, but it wasn't BBMs. It was like just random, like 10-man, 12-man leagues and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I think that's my big takeaway, is cutting out a lot of the smaller ones, and using that towards BPM teams. I think I had like one group of like puppy teams that were just the worst, and I thought they were, you think they're great, and then you look and they're all in like ninth through 12th place. What happened here?
yeah, I'm trying to think. I had BBM. I don't think I had any make out of the first round. Well, I had a lot of Tyreek Hill, Mark Andrews, Lamar teams that would have been real nice if they would have kept
Yeah,
going. But yeah, a couple of my best teams, they were looking really good until like about week 13, and then they kind of died out. Um,
I
but
fe-
yeah, I think we're gonna dive deep this off season. So I think we'll be very prepared for when BBM
yeah.
opens.
I feel like, to your point, that's one thing I really want to look at too, is like, I feel like some of the vets fell off real hard at the end of the season. And I know that's typically when you see rookies, step it up, obviously. But I just feel like it was just some craters on some of the older guys, your producers, that really just kind of killed a lot of teams.
Yeah, there's some bad variants near the end, and Diggs was really weird down the stretch. Like it's kind of offense, and I don't know. I don't. He doesn't seem that washed, but I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I just know in Dynasty and in best ball, I'm going to be drafting a lot of Diggs and Adams because I don't know. Like especially Adams though, especially
Yeah.
Adams, because I think he was way obviously AOC played better, and he had a huge last game, but I don't think he really fell off at all. Diggs, you can point to some things. So we'll have to dig into the numbers on that and see kind of like because a lot of times older guys will have one season where they do have a little bit of a down season and then it completely craters.
Mhm.
If he's still on Buffalo, I'm gonna have a hard time not drafting him though. If he's tied
Yeah.
to Josh Allen and the pass volumes there. So yeah, and he is I think he's the youngest of all those guys, other than I think Tyreek is like 6 months younger than him, but like for Adams and Keenan Allen, all those guys are like going to be 31 or 32. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I love some dusty vets, so maybe I'm biased.
It's, it's going to get dusty real fast.
Do you want to go through our theoretical first couple rounds, or like maybe we can do 2 rounds? Just kind of like we can talk through it and just or like go back and forth with picks. You want to do that?
Sure. Yeah. I would love an opportunity to walk back my 2023 CMC take. Be really great to atone for that one.
Okay. So I think we're so I'm assuming we're going CMC 1, right?
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't think you can. I don't think there's anything you can do.
Turns out having the league's best running back on the league's best offense is something you want in fantasy football. Who would have thought?
Come on.
Let's turn off that sound. Okay, you want to go? When you want to go? Why don't we go back and forth? You start with 1, 2, and you can go.
Yeah. Oh, is it me?
Yes, sir.
Right. I would go Tyreek, I think. Take one more shot at the sun.
Yeah, I think Tyreek is a good choice. There we go. I think Tyreek, yeah, like you said, like he didn't really slow down. It's at the end of the season, he had some weird games. He was injured, but yeah, he's Tyreek. Even imagine his PPG if he wouldn't have fallen off at the end there, he still would have been up in like 25 points per game range, which is what like Cooper Kupp was around in his huge season. So yeah, I think those guys, they perform too well. They're going to get pushed up to the top here. So
tied to an elite QB in an elite offense. That's what you want.
It doesn't look so elite the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb 3. Kind of same conversation, but he really pushed himself up into that top stratosphere this year. Huge last game against the Lions, but even before that, just super, super consistent. I think it was after the bye week when they kind of got their shit together. I wish I would have in all formats drafted more CeeDee Lamb. I have a few shares, but I don't think you can. I know for a long time it's been like whatever kind of Jamar, and Chase, and Justin Jefferson up at the top, but I don't know. I think those three are kind of. I still think Jefferson and Chase are slightly more talented, but he proved himself this year, and I think as of right now, I'd still go Lamb, just considering with Justin Jefferson's quarterback situation. So.
Yeah. It is. I mean, those splits before and after the bye were absolutely insane for Lamb too. They took off, and he was in Dynasty, like you said, he was gettable for a while, and now he's an untouchable now. Right?
He's completely untouchable. I think in a quarterback heavy draft, he'll probably go like, and I think the one I'm doing right now, he went like 1-2 turn, but I think in a lot of drafts he'll probably go 108, 109, something like that. So yeah. Okay, so who do you have next?
Man, it's tough between Jefferson or Chase at this point, but I think with the info that we have now, I think there's a little bit of value in Chase being tied to Burrow, and just having that in the bag as far as the info we have available. So that's who I would go with.
No, I think I agree with you there. I think, yeah, it's slight edge, obviously, like whatever, flip a coin, but
yeah.
I'll go Jeff next, like we said, and then you are back up.
Man, does it feel like, I mean, it's either like Amon-Ra or you start digging into the other running backs. Like, is it too early for Gibbs? Is it too early for Breece? Like, I feel like Breece is a nice top 7 pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably would go. I probably would go Breece, to be completely honest. But yeah, I don't know. What do you?
Let's do Breece.
You want to do Breece? So yeah, then I think our options are probably Gibbs. If Kyren, that's another huge conversation, is Kyren.
Yeah.
We were talking about him in best ball, but yeah, he was going absolutely bonkers this season when he was healthy. Pretty much, I don't know what he ended up averaging on the season, but I think it's probably like 21 or 22 points a game. So I'm not sure if that qualifies as quote legendary, but it's always tough with late drafted running backs. But if he does get the runway, I think he'll do pretty good. But I don't know. I think I would probably go Amon-Ra. next. I know you said you were considering him right there. What
Yeah.
you good with that?
Yeah. I dig that.
Okay, I think I got messed up. I think it's your pick though. I think it's your pick.
Lock it in. This is very official. Um, I mean, I as an old running back guy back in the day, like I have a hard time turning down what Gibbs could do. If we really are looking at him as the next like Jamal Charles type back. So I feel kind of frosty right there. Like you want to swing a little bit at team 8. Let's take some Gibbs. Go back to back Lions.
Whew. Yo, that Lions game was a heart crusher.
Oh my
I honestly
gosh.
don't watch too many, like straight up just watching the Lions. I usually just watch Red Zone because I'm a degenerate. But
Yeah.
because it was on a Saturday and because I had nothing going on, that was a tough one. And I think it's complete BS what happened. But I think I like the way they're handling it. They're not
Yeah.
like being pouty about it. They're just like typical Dan Campbell fashion, like fuck it, we're gonna show them.
Yeah.
So
Let's move. We're gonna be fine. Just keep
and the
going.
defense, I don't think they're amazing. I don't think they're gonna like shut you down like the Ravens or the 49ers or anything like that. But hey, you just gotta get some turnovers, gotta get lucky. So yeah, but enough on my Lions rant.
I mean, it's a good time to pump the Lions, man. Like don't apologize for that. This is incredible for them.
So okay, I'm considering Bijan here. AJ Brown.
Do you take Bijan if Art Smith is back?
Probably. I think I'm gonna go AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go
Eagles
AJ
got to
Brown.
get stuff sorted out.
Yeah, he's I don't know. I mean, I don't love AJ Brown. He did fall off at the end of the season, but I still think he's live for huge spike weeks. And if their offense doesn't fall off like it did, and Jalen Hurts doesn't kind of like and the whole offense fall off, I still think he's around that like 20 points a game
Yeah.
mark. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was carrying teams for a good 25% of the season there in the middle, where he had those weeks where it was like 125 or 150 plus touchdowns for like five consecutive games? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty monstrous. But yeah, the fade was pretty rough. Ah, man. Next, I'm getting the hard ones now. I don't know about this. Got
I mean, I think
maybe JT
Bijan,
bounce back story. Oh, Bijan's still there. Yeah.
Kyron. Yeah, I don't know who you feeling.
I mean, the homer take. I'm gonna take JT here.
Okay.
Team 10. Looking for a full off season in the Steichen offense. You get AR back healthy next year, hopefully. Maybe we draw another 1,800-yard rushing performance with double-digit touchdowns. If Jonathan Taylor can match what Raheem Mostert did in the end zone this year, legendary season.
You know what? I think JT is a big bounce back candidate. Just based on the offense was just running so quick. The pace was crazy. Shane Steichen looks like a genius. They have a chance to make the playoffs with Gardner Minshew if they beat the Texans. I mean, I don't think his passing upside is going to be huge, but I mean, you saw Zach Moss absolutely go off, average almost 20 points a game when he was healthy and when JT was out. So yeah, I think we're a little bit still whatever. It's a down season, but I think he's gonna bounce back. I think just the offense is going to be too good, and just the environment is going to be too good. So, I think you know what? I think I'm going to go wild card here.
Uh-oh.
I think I'm going to go Puka.
Puka? Dang.
I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made for a couple guys, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You could argue Puka over, I mean, anybody from 8 up, I feel like, because the season that Puka put up is beyond praise. It's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, he needs 10 yards to break Jamar Chase's record for most
Yeah.
yards in a season for a rookie. And yeah, and I mean, that's just coming in as a rookie. Like he still has room to grow as a player. And as long as Stafford's there, like, yeah, I think he gives you upside that
Yeah.
not too many guys have. So
In my worldview, progression only happens in a linear fashion. So whatever he did this year, he's going to do better next year. And
it's 2,000 yards next year.
Yep, that's the take. That's what we're going with. I mean, why not draft 4 running backs in round 1? Let's get Bijan in there.
I think that's the right spot for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe overdrafted JT a bit.
I mean, maybe slightly. I think once you get to this range, it's pretty back and forth. I think I'm gonna go. This is assuming Kyron is back, but I think if he's back, I think this is a good range.
He's cranking green. I love it.
I think he could even go higher, honestly. Like if we get out all, it's August, he's all locked in, everything. I think he probably would go higher, but like probably in that like 109 range. But yeah.
That's what we need to do is like figure out how to decode the smoke signals around Sean McVay and his running backs. Because it's like when he finds the one, dude, they're like locked in, like they're moved in, they're sharing an apartment. It's love at first sight. There's nothing can tear them apart. But then like when it doesn't work out, like they're out. They're done.
Buddy,
They don't
if
even
you
get
can
a
figure
chance.
that out, you will be a millionaire because that's one of the hardest things to figure out in all of sports is what the fuck is he going to do with his running backs in any given season? I mean, when he does have a guy historically, he does ride them. So I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I don't think there's that many good running backs in this class.
No.
So I mean, even if they draft a guy in like the 4th round or something, I don't know. I still think that's a pretty good setup for him. I mean, obviously, I'll be drafting the guy who they draft in the 4th round too, but yeah. So the runway's open. Okay, let's see. Who am I going here? I think some guys I'm considering are probably ETN.
Yeah.
I think you can make an argument for ETN probably above Bijan and Kyron, maybe, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Young stud running back, and kind of was the season like not from hell, but just not a very consistent season for the Jaguars. Kind of a weird season.
Yeah.
I still am a believer in Trevor Lawrence. Like, I don't know how much in Dynasty from like, do I want to invest in him perspective, but from like a real life, like, do I think he's actually a good quarterback? Yes.
Yeah.
And ETN had a really, really, really good role. So yeah, I think that's kind of just whatever. Same bet. There's only so many young, talented running backs who catch passes and can break off a long play. So yeah.
Maybe just let him run outside every once in a while. Try, stop slamming him up the middle every time.
Some more
That's
efficient
cool.
runs. Yeah.
Diversity in play calls is nice.
Yeah, he's kind of a weird play style though. Like I feel like people think he's like, I don't even know, kind of like more of like a Jahmyr Gibbs, where he's kind of like more of like a finesse back, but he kind of runs a little bit like, I don't know how to explain it, like just like a Mexican popping bean. Like he just kind of like he'll just run in the middle, and then he'll like spin outside for like a 70-yard play like once every 3 weeks. Like it's kind of weird. Okay, who are you thinking here?
Oh man, let's pull up those wide receivers.
I was gonna say, are you thinking quarterbacks at this? Any elite quarterbacks at this point, or are you pushing it back? What do you?
I'm gonna push it back. I would. Let's see.
Running backs, we got Garrett Wilson, we got Diggs, we got.
Yeah, I'd feel great about Garrett Wilson. I'd feel good about Diggs.
We got Debo.
Olave here too. Olave
Olave.
probably closer to the end, middle to the end of the second.
What about
Yeah,
here's a name for you. DJ Moore with Caleb Williams. How do you feel about him?
that's it's interesting. Do you think he gets steamed up? And he has to go in the second round then, wouldn't he? That is kind of nuts. Because he was
Yeah,
what, fifth round last year?
yeah. I think he was going a little bit earlier, just because I think he got pushed up a little bit because people initially because people were pairing him with Fields, and I think it flipped where I think. But yeah, like
Yeah,
third, fourth round. Yeah.
I was full fade on DJ Moore, so that worked out great. And
I
then,
mean,
yeah,
hey, let's whatever. We can look at it later. Whatever. There's his expected points per game was like 13 and his actual points per game was like 17 and a half. And
yeah,
same with Debo. Which is like there is some element of dude can ball in there, but it's like Debo went from 2 years ago scoring 20 points a game on like 14 expected points to down to 12 points a game on 13 expected points and then back up to like 18.
on
It's like I think for
minimal
best
targets
ball, I
too.
think for
That's the best. Like,
yeah, I think
just
for best
juice him.
ball it's
That's
fine,
all.
but it's like just not a like if I don't know. This point I think it's too early right now, but I think at the end of the second it's definitely worth a shot.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what do you Garrett Wilson, Olave?
Yeah, let's go Garrett Wilson or DJ Moore to atone for what we did the full fade last year.
Okay. Yeah, I think Garrett Wilson like he was he looked absolutely crazy. Like even with freaking Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle and whoever else, like imagine if they would have just kept Joe Flacco. I don't know why they did not keep Joe Flacco. That makes
That
absolutely no sense to me.
did you what a crazy storyline that all is. I mean, just absolutely insane. That Joe Flacco would be, carrying a team into the playoffs. I get their defense is good, but yeah, the Browns offense just slinging it with him. It's incredible. And yeah, what could have been with the Jets? Wow.
Um, okay. A guy I want to bring up is Kelsey. Where do you think he's gonna fall? Like he wasn't his normal absolutely like dominant self. And I think another conversation which we will have in a second is there's so many other good options at tight end now that it's like you don't have
Yeah.
to like push it. So I still think he's probably like end of second, probably. Whatever, like 2-3 turn around, I think I would say. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
do you think he even plays is the thing? Like that's the other part of it too.
I mean, I think probably, but I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like it's best ball. Like if you lose out on a team because you drafted Travis Kelsey and you went to go be a rapper and retire and hang out with Taylor Swift, I think whatever. If it's
Yeah.
$5 or $25, I'd probably just do it because he can still give you those huge games. So yeah.
Sounds like you want to draft cap Travis Kelsey here.
I'm trying to think who else I'm considering here. Like I think Diggs, Adams, DJ Moore. I think no, I think I'm gonna go Diggs.
Yeah.
Um, I know we had the conversation earlier about how he fell off, but just the team if he's still on Buffalo, I can't not go back to the well
Yeah.
with that strong of an offense, amount of passing attempts being linked to Josh Allen. It's just I don't know too
Yeah.
much going in his direction.
Yeah. I don't think he looks washed from what we've seen. I don't know. It's
I think it was more like whatever they switched coordinators mid-season, and so uh, I don't know, just some weird variants too. So yeah.
yeah.
Alrighty,
Uh,
you're up. What are you thinking here?
let's go Olave. Just really
Olave,
push it.
I like it. Um, yeah, Olave. I mean, I think same thing. Like I think he obviously showed he's super talented as a rookie and this year, but just because some weird Derek Carr being injured and some other weird stuff, and hopefully he'll only get even a little bit better. So I like
Yeah.
that. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go. Let's see. What other running backs do we have on the board? Not really interested in any of these guys.
Yeah. Running back. Oh, where do you think Achane ends up? Like round 3, round 4?
I think both HN and Mostert probably, probably like third or fourth round. It depends what happens with Mostert and everything, but I think he'll probably get steamed up. It depends, you know what I mean? I think come August, if he's healthy and everything, I think he'll probably get steamed up pretty high. Everyone's going to pull out the analytics and everything, and then the average crazy efficiency and all that. Let's see what
I'm
else.
here for it. Just give me the guys that can win weeks. I don't care about consistency. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's it's so true. I think I'm gonna go Adams. Same conversation as Diggs. Like, didn't really look like he fell off at all, and assuming they're gonna have a better quarterback than AOC, which obviously we said that last year that it was Jimmy G was going to be okay, and he was ass and got hurt. So, But yeah, I think still super elite. He's still Devontae Adams. We saw it in a few games at the end of the season. So,
So like the
all
wide
right,
receivers that we drafted.
let's get 5 or 6 more picks here. We can get it going.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to go DJ Moore because, like you said, there's a pretty easy story to tell to make him a wide receiver 1 this upcoming season. That's kind of what you're looking at with these guys.
I mean, yeah, like it's whatever. Last year, this was what the Waddle, Olave, Devonta Smith kind of range. Yeah. I mean, if he's tied to Caleb, I mean they might draft a wide receiver in round 1 to go with him, but I still think if you're with Caleb, I know rookie quarterbacks don't always support multiple pass catchers, but the spike weeks will definitely be there. So
you can ignore Cole Kmet and just pass to DJ Moore. It's okay.
I was making the tier list for the tight end rankings, and I was just like, man, who would draft Cole Kmet? Like, I just don't understand it, but I don't know. I'm a tight end elitist, so that's probably my problem. But okay, so a couple guys I'm considering are Debo and Brandon Ayuk and Kelsey, and probably the elite quarterbacks. I think I'm gonna go Kelsey. No, I think my gut's telling me Kelsey, honestly. Like it's whatever. Same time we just talked about it, but yeah, like if he's playing, like I think he fell off a little bit, but it's still whatever. Can still give you 20 points a game at tight end, which I think is.
But he only did it once this year. Like, that's the scary thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like bumping him back a full round is probably good enough, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think anywhere from 2.8 to like whatever, maybe mid like this range-ish. Whatever. Well, yeah, there's still a lot to be seen. Let's see. Okay.
So do you take Ayuk here, even though not a ton of splash weeks, right? But definitely more of a consistent guy?
Yeah, I think he had more early on in the season. I think as the season went on, it was a little bit more Debo, who had the last 5 or 6 weeks was more Debo. But yeah, I mean, hey, we said target guys in strong offenses, and he's been elite. It's just whatever. There's only so many touches to go around. So
yeah, I think that feels good there.
Do I go back to back Debo Ayuk picks? I feel like probably.
Kind of seems like it. Oh, Michael Pittman.
I was gonna say, honestly, I really like Michael Pittman this year.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. Can I float you a name?
Yeah.
Rashad White. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
How do you feel about I feel like he's probably a 2-3 turn pick, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's great because running back does seem to get pretty dry. We love guys that catch passes. Um, tied to an elite QB in Baker Mayfield who has unlocked Rashad White.
Hey, man, number 1
Uh,
overall pick. Let
yeah.
let him bake.
Yeah. I mean, to your point earlier, like, I don't think there's any, rookies that scare anybody coming in. Uh, got the pass catching ability, showed a little bit of extra juice this year. So yeah, I think it's a good, good safe pick, it feels like at the end of round two.
So your pick here, your backup. Are you considering the elite quarterbacks at this point? Are you like I don't know. Like I feel like I'm just trying to think of like what the market is going to do. Like
Yeah.
this is what I would do, but I'm also just thinking like trying to be realistic of like I don't know. Like I don't know where they'll end up, but yeah,
I, I
that's my
feel like,
guess.
yeah, I feel like Josh Allen is definitely going to go before the end of round two. Um, Mahomes probably, Lamar, if people can ever, just be cool and like Lamar should be like round 2, 3 pick. I can't do it. So this is the part I struggle with in exercises like this because I know what the market's going to do and I know what I'm going to want to do
Yeah, 100%.
around the market you know, to swim upstream, but we'll see.
So yeah, running backs. I'm trying to think like
Yeah, it gets ugly.
Rashad White, James Cook. Um, who else is even Rashad White, James Cook. I mean, I don't even know who. I feel like, yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to go? Do you want to go a wide receiver here, like Devonta or Cooper Cup or uh, something like that, or do you think it's you think they're going to go quarterback? I feel like they're probably going to go
I
quarterback.
feel like
Honestly.
they're going to go quarterback. Yeah.
Okay, let's give let's just say Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts there. And let's just do a couple more picks. Maybe let's go to 3, 4, and then let's transition over to let's give our thoughts, and then let's transition over to the tight end conversation.
Yeah.
So okay, who do you think's in contention here, like for the next couple picks?
I definitely feel like probably get some Higgins or Metcalf stands that'll push those guys up there. Metcalf did have some good games down the stretch. Um, and I think Rashad White. I actually, yeah, let's go Rashad White and lock that
Rashad
in.
White. Okay, yeah. I mean, oh, that's because I'm looking in wide receivers. Let's see. One second, pulling something up really quick. Okay, what about Nico Collins and Mike Evans?
Gosh, Mike Evans was so cheap last year. It's heartbreaking. Both of those guys. Yeah, I feel like Mike Evans is kind of a great pick here. Yeah, good call.
I mean, he was a wide receiver one. I mean, I think
Yeah,
probably end range of wide receiver one, but like 17 points a game or 16 points a game.
yeah.
Um, let's see. I think probably, or you know what? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I feel like yeah, I think we're gonna get a lot of Texan steam.
Yeah,
Nico
Nico.
Collins, maybe like I don't. Do you think Cup will go here or later?
Man, I feel like he's going to get knocked pretty bad. Um, I would guess probably gets pushed 2 to 3 rounds back. So you could see him as kind of one of those like vets in round 5 that everybody's kind of dancing around, maybe. I don't know.
I'm trying to think who else.
I mean, tight end of the future, Sam Laporta, or is it too early?
I mean, for me, it's probably not too early,
Yeah.
honestly, but I feel like let's Keenan. Um, Keenan, James Cook, Achan.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, you're gonna be sifting through like the dusty wide receivers and the kind of risky running backs at this point is what it feels like. Apologies to Michael Pittman because you are neither of those.
Let's see, where's I think one more guy that I want to mention. So yeah, I think guys in this range probably, yeah, like Pittman. I think Pacheco. Um,
Yeah,
he's been balling out, and if he has a big playoffs and they don't add anyone, I'm scared even more of him than I am Kyron. Just some dusty vet. Like if Kamara signs with the Chiefs, would you
yeah,
really be surprised?
that would be pretty nasty.
Yeah. DK Metcalf, same thing. Waddle, Devonta Smith, Rasheed Rice, Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison Jr., depending on landing spot. I think they could go even higher than this. Um, so yeah, I think it depends on landing spot probably, but they're probably going to get drafted top 5 the at the earliest, maybe top 10.
Yeah,
Laporta, Mark Andrews, I think they're in this kind of the same tier as me, tier for me.
Deep Andrews is going to be great this year. Man, that injury discount is going to be real nice.
I was gonna say, yeah, if he falls at all, like I already love Mark Andrews, but it's gonna be incomprehensible how much
That
I'm gonna
tractor
hate.
beam is just gonna.
Brother, it's gonna be real bad. Um, okay, I feel like that's pretty good. So yeah, let's just go through it really quick. Um, so yeah, CMC number one, we whatever. He scored 25 points a game. He was a league winner. You got to keep going to the well. Same with Tyreek, CeeDee Lamb, just absolutely balling, tied to Dak Prescott, and that offense looked super good with Dak once the weirdness of the season played out a little bit and the variance. Chase over Jefferson just because he's tied to Joe Burrow and just a little bit more stability, but could go either way there. Brees Hall, we were back and forth on Brees Hall and Amon-Ra, so we put him back to back, but whatever. We saw the upside from Brees. We were El Coach drafted him and helped him win some money, and a lot of other people win some money at the end of the year once they were actually giving him touches and
Yeah,
they got Dalvin Cook's bum ass out of there finally. But yeah, I mean, I think he has
that's who
crazy.
Pacheco has to watch out for. Dalvin Cook's out there.
If I'm the Chiefs, I'm just saying, sorry, bud, you're staying on the street. Amon-Ra put up 20-ish points a game. I know I'm a little bit worried about Ben Johnson leaving, but whatever. He's been so
Yeah,
consistent. You can't knock him for that. Gibbs. I still think I think I'm going to draft a lot of David Montgomery this year just because the contingent upside is going to be absolutely crazy. We saw it when Gibbs was out. He was scoring
yep,
like 30 points, and I think it'll be, yeah, more 1A, 1B than I think people will realize. But we saw the upside with Gibbs. He can give you whatever 20, 25, 30-point games, which is very helpful. AJ Brown fell off at the end of the year, but still super talented, good offense. Jonathan Taylor, yeah, I don't know. This whole range of Taylor, Bijan, ETN, Kyron, like I think is one big lump of running backs for me. I don't think there's really a wrong answer there. Um, but yeah, the Shane Steichen's offense looked absolutely
yeah,
amazing, and we know he's talented. And if he's healthy and talented, good offense, probably going to be pretty solid. Puka, I think you can make an argument for him over AJ Brown and Gibbs probably
yeah.
even, but historic rookie season. Bijan didn't pan out how we wanted to this year, but still gives you the pass catching upside. Arthur Smith, please get fired. And even if he's back, I still think cooler heads will prevail and he'll just be like, wow, this guy's a generational running back. We should probably give him the ball more, but who knows?
Maybe.
I still have 30% Kyle Pitts in Dynasty, so trust me, I'm salty about it. Kyron Williams, he whatever, absolute league winner this year. It's a scary situation just with being such a late round running back. But if he does survive the offseason, he will be going this high, if not higher. ETN, Jaguars probably will hopefully bounce back and just be a little bit more consistent. And he catches passes. Garrett Wilson, just hoping Aaron Rodgers will be back. His underlying numbers were absolutely bonkers, and he was still an absolute gam. Diggs, weird season, but still super talented. And if he's on the Bills, you still going to give you like a 25 or 30% target share on the Bills. It's pretty exciting. Olave, super talented, hasn't had it all come together, but just insane talent, and hopefully just gets a little bit more of a good run out in terms of Derek Carr and just the offense and everything. No Michael Thomas, I'm assuming.
Yeah, seems likely.
Adams, super good still. Hopefully better quarterback. DJ Moore tied with Caleb Williams, and he already gave you huge spike weeks this year. So if the offense is just a little bit better, there's some big potential there. Kelsey, this is a tough one. It depends. I don't know. I think we could push him back a couple spots, but he's Kelsey. Ayuk and Debo back to back. You want players on good offenses, and 49ers are a very good offense. And then Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. We're putting this as a placeholder here just because we think they'll get steamed up, but everyone likes elite quarterbacks, and these guys I think they were averaging around 25 points a game. So it gives you a huge advantage, even if it didn't work out this year in best ball. Rachaad White, he had an absolutely elite role after the first couple of weeks where he wasn't really catching passes, and then all of a sudden they were like, wow, this guy's pretty good at catching passes, so we should probably pass it to him a lot. And then 2 bucks in a row, Mike Evans, he is a free agent, but I think they're probably going to give him the bag and have him return, and he looked really good with the offensive coordinator. And it doesn't look like he's slowing down at all. I think you can even make an argument for Evans even higher up, like in the Debo, Ayuk, DJ Moore range. He looked really, really damn good. Nico Collins and Michael Pittman. There's a lot of guys in this range I think could get pushed up. Tank Dell, Cooper Kupp, like there's A-Chan. But those steamy offenses.
All those wide receivers are the same kind of bet. It feels like, the nesting doll thing that you were talking about.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we'll have to do this again. Like we'll have to do this every little bit and just kind of like think through it until best ball drafts open. Cause I think it's interesting to just think about kind of try to think about how the market's going to react to stuff.
Yeah.
After because you'll see what did the BBM winner and the couple people that finished high, what did they do? Those guys will, in that strategy, will get pushed up no matter what what is going on. So
yeah, man.
All righty. So tight ends. Who's ready to talk some tight ends?
So excited.
Someone like Sam Laporta here.
I mean, we do have Alvin Mack chiming in with an Arthur Smith needs to be in jail comment, which is great.
I have to put that in here because Arthur Smith is a war criminal. He needs to be put in the gulag.
So I mean, before we get into tight ends, have you considered the possibility that the Falcons need a little firepower on offense? And what if they throw a hyper athletic tight end in there from the first 10 picks of the draft and bring in Brock Bowers? Do you think that would be
brother? I would be so sad for my everything shares. One sec. You know what? Let me get Brock Bowers in here because I actually didn't add him in here because it's probably safe to assume that we should be including 24.
Yeah.
I actually just took the 107, which I'm hoping is Brock Bowers. So
Yeah, I think you put Brock Bowers in the Jonnu Smith role and really just unlock that offense.
also, I didn't put these pictures of the cats in here. I typed in empty tier maker, and this is what showed up.
Incredible.
So the kittens will not be included in this tier list. But
I love it.
Okay, so why don't you start us off? For reference, I have dplot17. I think it's DSP4150 on Twitter, part of the Bulletproof Dynasty. He does wide receiver and tight end charting. So we will be referencing and going back and forth with some of the whatever expected points per game and yards per route run, etc. But whatever, just go through a quick little tier list. We'll be using his data. Just he's an Excel whiz and super smart guy. So shout out to him.
I love it. I mean, I feel like number one. You know it. I know
why I'm here.
You know what we were saying all off season, and it came true. So it's great. So let's just put Sam Laporta on the board. Number one, Dynasty tight end. We are doing Dynasty, right? Not redraft.
Yeah, Dynasty. Where did this boy go?
We have kittens instead of Laporta.
We have kittens instead of Laporta.
You can say it's the Lions. It's good.
Here we go. This isn't what I was looking for, but S tier.
I am slightly bummed that I didn't win Best Ball Mania because I was gonna send Sam Laporta an edible arrangement. If he helped me ship it all home, I feel like I still should because he was on every one of my teams that did well this season. So I think he's earned it. That dude's incredible. I don't have enough superlatives for him. The data backs it all up. He's elite. Do you feel good about? Would you have him number one?
I think you have to at this point. I mean, so let's pull it up really quick. So he is at. So he's at 16.3 points per game. He's a rookie. So Kelsey was at 17.9, Hawkinson was at 17.9, Evan Ingram was at 16, Mark Andrews was at 16. So, I mean, I just don't think whatever.
Elite.
What?
Elite. Yeah.
Yeah, just elite. I mean, whatever. Like good offense. We know Jared Goff just loves throwing over the middle to Amon-Ra as well. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know what else more you can say in terms of the combination of youth. He's 22 years old. He already put up an elite tight end season, and he's just going to retain so much value. No matter what happens, we saw with Kyle Pitts, he had a good rookie year, and then he still was a second or third round pick after absolutely terrible sophomore year. So yeah, but you're the Laporta guy. So why don't you go ahead?
I mean, he's great. Like you've got the target share, you've got the yak capability, athletic. I think the big thing that you really saw where he was able to he started out hot and didn't slow down. He didn't have anybody in front of him. And that's a problem that a lot of the rookie tight ends seem to run into. Kincaid ran into that through stretches because their usage on him seemed weird when they were kind of flipping between OCs. But then Dawson Knox was there and it just wasn't a clear path. Laporta, I mean, we were calling it like all summer long. Like, dude was the number one. Dan Campbell freaking loved that guy. Like, he was gassing him up more than we were, which was great. So I think he's got everything that you want to see, from the profile to the production, and like you said, the long-term value. Like it can't get any better. And again, he's only going to get better because that's how linear progression works. So like next season is going to be better than this one. So it's just going to keep going up. It's going to keep getting better and better. And I don't think you have to tell yourself a story with him at all. Like it just every single box is checked.
No, and it's yeah, I mean it's different than Kyle Pitts in his rookie season because just think the offense is just so much better. Like we even if Ben Johnson leaves, like we know Jared Goff, we know who he is.
Yep.
He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he can keep a steady, consistent, whatever, strong offense going, and he likes throwing over the middle. And I mean, he's really the number two option after Amon Ra, and then obviously you have Gibbs and Montgomery. Kind of like the run game is strong there, but I mean, Jameson Williams, I mean, he's a fun player, but I'm not really expecting him to command a big target share at all. And then whatever, mix in any other random whatever wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, and that. But I think whatever you can probably pencil it. Like he had a 20% target share. I think that's probably like around where he'll be, maybe even slightly higher than that.
Yeah.
You could see just a little bit of, like you said, just progression. But I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to say 25% target share. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And then there's plenty of room for all the other guys to mix in as well. So
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay. So who do you have next? I know who I have next, but I want to know. I want to know what your thoughts are.
It's your guy, right?
You know what? I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm going McBride.
All right. Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I think okay. So let's do A tier and let's have a conversation. So I think probably
Uh,
it's Andrews first, but I want to have a conversation about McBride just because I think people are I think in some corners he's like getting like steamed up really high, but I still think a lot of people aren't buying in. They still think it's just his situation and just like there not being really anyone there, which I think is part of it, but he was a super strong prospect. And then whatever, like Zach Ertz obviously was there, but here, let me read off some stats for you. So from week 8 to week 17, he averaged 18.7 expected points per game and 18.7 points per game in tight end premium leagues, which we play in all team tight end premium leagues.
that's
So
really good.
both of those would be tight end one marks on the
Yeah.
year. And I mean, like, yeah, that there Marquise Brown was hurt. Like it was Michael Wilson was hurt. It was Greg Dortch and it was James Conner and whatever other bum ass running backs. And I think Elijah Higgins, who like was a tight end, and then he came in and was playing wide receiver and whatever. But I just think, I mean, Kyler looked really good.
Yeah.
He didn't. He was a little bit inconsistent at the start of the season in terms of, like when he first came back in terms of his passing, but with the talent that he had around him, other than McBride, I think it's kind of understandable. But yeah, he was number 2 tight end in yards per route run and number 4 in PFF grade. So I mean, those are pretty eye opening numbers when you look at it. And so that's the only reason why I would have it. Like that's why I think we have to have a conversation about him over Andrews. You know, I love Andrews. I'm the number 1 Andrews stan. I just think he's what 6 years younger, 7 years younger,
Yeah.
and I mean that season. I think where Andrews had one season where he went absolutely nuclear, but he's still tied to Kyler Murray. Hopefully, they draft a wide receiver and surround the offense with some more talent. But not all tight ends have to be like just whatever super deep, like whatever super athletic, like running super deep routes. Like there are kind of like the Zach Ertz just like compiler types, and I think he fits
Mm-hmm.
more into that role where it's more just like he's just going to get fed targets over the middle, and his yards after catch is pretty solid too. So
Yeah. I think it's kind of what you want to look at it, like whether you want kind of like the, the warm, secure, safe feeling that is like Mark Andrews is elite. It's easy to say and it's easy to look at because it's true. The uh the thing with McBride is like there was nothing that rookie season outside of, that one random game where he popped off, and then he got kind of like Ertz came right back in after tearing his ACL and would not give up the job. So it's like, which is it? Because I mean, like, obviously the guy's a playmaker when you look at it. But it's like, what just kind of happened there? Like, was he just not getting on the field? And it's one of those where you look at it and like nobody likes to feel like they were wrong, but like everybody was kind of out on McBride, and now you've got to like whiplash. And not only are you like whiplashing, like, yeah, he's not coming back from that. Well, actually, no, now he's tight end too. It's pretty wild course correction, and it's kind of tough to do.
Yeah, no. I mean, I that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's two pockets. There's two sides to it where it's like some people are like, hey, a lot of people are in the same situation and they don't put up 18.7 points per game. So yeah, I definitely think there's room to push back, and I think those are super valid points. But I mean, yeah, like 24 years old and putting up at almost 19 points a game, which is like in that Kelsey range, when he was actually playing. Yeah, I think I don't know. Like, I don't really have a lean, honestly. Like, I think I would probably go McBride just for the youth, just as the tiebreaker. But I mean, you see here, Andrews had 9% his rookie year. Or I think that's his rookie year, 2018. But then look, 25% target share, 25% target share, 26% target share, 28% target share. And then this year he was only at 22%, but he got hurt early in the season. So, and the Ravens have looked absolutely fucking sick. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen more from Mark Andrews. So I definitely think like he's shown more. It's just purely the age. So
yeah, that's tough. I go either way. I don't know. What's Evan Silva's line about the Mackey Award winner? Can that be applied to McBride here?
I have no idea. I know he was just saying he was the Cardinals' Travis Kelce. That's what they were saying.
Mild praise. There we go.
Alvin Max 55 says, have to consider too that it's likely that Andrews will give up some of those tight end targets next season. I don't buy that one. I think Andrews is like the kind of guy where it'll probably be him number one, Flowers number two, and then I think there's still room for likely to run some routes, but he's kind of like a contingent running back, but at tight end. Like like whatever, draft him late, draft him whatever, just on your Andrews teams or whatever. If he does play, like I think he's a good player, and he'll definitely like kind of be a de facto maybe whatever, like wide receiver 3-ish. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be taking anything away from Andrews' upside. So okay, so where are you going next?
This is where it just gets ridiculous. Like, I get like we had an infusion of young talent this year, but it also feels like maybe we didn't. So like, do you go full psycho mode and like, is this like Kittle, Pitts? Like, how long do we get to keep the candle on for Kyle Pitts? I ask myself with 30% rostership.
Hey, we're in the same boat, brother. Yeah, it's I mean, so I think you have to go. So I was going to say, I think it would have been Hawkinson.
Yeah.
But
that injury knocks him out like almost all year though, doesn't it?
I was going to say, he'll probably like whatever you get from him will be a blessing next year, but I don't think you really can bank on very much. Maybe end of the season he starts to come back, but that was a tough one because I do think I think he would have been in. I think he would have been in this
Yeah,
tier.
I agree.
But I think so. Yeah, let's just put a few guys and then let's talk it through. So probably Kelsey's in here somewhere. He's in here somewhere.
I can't do it.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Kincaid. Let's just add some guys first.
Yeah.
Kincaid, and then probably Pitts, and then probably Bowers. So okay, this is the real conversation because I think the top three, it's like I think Laporta is pretty much consensus number one, and then the Andrews McBride is a real conversation. I think there's a lot of people on both sides of that. This is where it gets really tough. So I want to hear your first reaction first, like go through, and then let's adjust off of that. So like start with number one, and then keep me going.
So I think the one that you're going to be able to get the most value for is Bowers at this point. So we could just take the safest answer and sort them alphabetically by last name. We'll be fine. Because Hawkinson is going to get dinged because of the injury, but the production has been great. Hits, you're going to run into people that either like us are still holding the candle, or that are completely out. So I don't think you can have him there. Kittle and Kelsey, kind of same issues, just in different ways that it's exaggerated. Like Kelsey is 34, going to be 35 next year, and turned in, a bad season by his stretch, by his normal figures, for the first time in a long time. So how far down to earth does he come crashing? And I mean, do people feel good about taking Travis Kelsey in the first 5 rounds of a startup? Could you do that?
Like
it's tough.
I think he okay. So wait. One moment. Let me pull something up for you.
Because I get like the tight ends age gracefully and stuff like that. He still has, I mean, like the Tony Gonzalez comp is he played till what, 37, 38, him and Antonio Gates. Like the elite ones can play for a while.
So yeah, I think so. This is the draft I'm doing literally right now, and we're in the 6th. We just started the 6th round, so I feel like because like okay, so it went. Let's see, the order is Laporta, Andrews, McBride, so that's on point. Hawkinson went right after that, which I feel like I was very surprised for him to go that early. Kincaid just went 5-12. So Kelsey is still on the board. Kittle is still on the board. Who else?
Like what, 10? What do you think Bowers is, like 105, 106 probably?
So that's So it's I would say right now there's 3 quarterbacks. Caleb, May, Daniels. So that's 3, and then you have
Neighbors and MHJ.
Neighbors, MHJ. So that's 5, and then that's where, and then you reach the point where you might have some quarterbacks that go like after that, right? Like maybe Penix.
I got to get Penix on some teams. I'm sorry,
bro. He looks real nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Penix. You have McCarthy. I don't like McCarthy, but I mean, you never know. Some team, if they win the championship, some team might be like, fuck it. He's young. He's he has kind of like just the tools that we can go into. So I think those 2 guys are live. Bo Nix. So that's 3 quarterbacks where like they give you something where they could, whatever. If they go in the top like 15 picks, I think they might get pushed up like right after that range, just because it's a quarterback and it's super flex.
Do we want JJ McCarthy in an Arthur Smith offense?
Fuck no. I mean, I don't love any of those guys as prospects. Like, I don't think like any of them are like hit out of the park like the top. I think Daniels. I might have a lot of
Yeah,
Daniels in all
he's
formats.
fun.
Kind of like A Rich last year. Like honestly, almost exactly like A Rich last year. I think he's gonna get steamed the fuck out of.
Hmm.
But so those are another three guys, and then you have a Dunes, and then Bowers. Like I would prefer probably a Bowers, but it depends on draft capital for those two guys. So yeah, I took 107 right here, Dicker the kicker, and I very much regret taking him over McBride because I was like thinking like, okay, it's either probably a Dunes or Bowers, and just like thinking like they might get steamed up and I can use it for trade bait. But I immediately regretted my decision. And if I could go back, I definitely would have taken McBride.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, sorry, I got very derailed. But yeah,
No,
Kelsey,
that's good. You have
Kelsey,
live evidence.
I think Kelsey and Kittle probably go in like this like late 5, early 6 range.
Yeah, so I think you got to look at him as like a Keenan Allen type situation, though. Like where like Keenan Allen and Mike Evans almost. Like I could see teams passing on him until like the 8, 9, 10 round. Like that's I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's kind of like the same thing in best ball where like only one guy out of the 12 guys needs to like be pushing all his chips in. So I agree. Like I think it depends on your room, but
Yeah.
I think there'll be one guy per draft will be like he could go to 0, but he could also give me 20 points a game, which is yeah, like you said, it's the same as Keenan, the same as Devontae, same as Diggs, same
Yeah.
as all those guys. So yeah. So let's go back. Okay, so we got to do something. Should we? Is it
We
Kincaid?
got to do something.
Is it Kincaid? Is it Pitts? Is it? It's. I think Hawk. We probably got to like
I
put
refuse
to
the
the side
question.
for now because it's just like kind of a lost season for him.
Yeah,
So
I think Hawk is good. I think yeah, Kincaid, Pitts,
would you go
feel good about
Kincaid
that.
or Pitts? Where who do you? Let's look at their.
I'm not going to quit Kyle Pitts. So that's, you know, a personal weakness of mine is how stubborn I can get about stuff. Some people call it take lock. I don't know. But I think Kyle Pitts has to have that season in there somewhere. I think he's obviously still recovering from the knee injury. Seemed to be quite a bit worse than we initially understood. Uh, Plays in. It's hard to call it the most the NFL when you have the Jets out there, but like
One
an
of.
off, yeah, like an offense built around not getting your best players the ball seems like a waste of everybody's time. So
Absolutely.
if that changes, like I think he's a fantastic player, and I can't I can't quit that profile. I think Kincaid's a good player in his own right, but I would rather have Pitts than Kincaid.
Yeah, I mean, you look here, expected points a game. It's within like 1 point of each other, so that's not the wherever. That's not that
Yeah,
much of a difference. Same with points per game, and then target share. Kyle Pitts actually had a higher target share. All things considered, with
good
Taylor
for Kyle.
Heineke and
Yeah,
with Desmond Mitter at quarterback. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think yeah, Kyle Pitts is yeah coming off an injury, bad offense, but I still think he's a good player. He's still 23, I think.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
younger than Kincaid, so I know Kincaid's on the Bills, so that probably like that's a point towards him. But I think the prospect profile and just the talent of Pitts is so strong that yeah, let's I think let's
yeah. And I
let's
mean,
let's go Pitts over McBride. Um,
it shows the edge that like non-emotional players can have in Dynasty too, because like here I am caping for a guy that was like tight end 17 in points per game, and talking about having like taking him in the first 6 to 7 rounds of a startup. When you have other players around him that have, outscored him in like career-long touchdowns in a single season. They've outpaced him and stuff like that. Like there's edges to beat people like me all over the place in Dynasty. It's great.
I mean, yeah,
I'll give you lots of chances.
I mean, if they, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a weird offseason to see. God, I just hope the Falcons fire Arthur Smith. I mean, that's the real whatever.
Yes.
But that would be like fantasy gold for London and for Pitts. But I mean, I think the other conversation that the thing that I didn't bring up was Kincaid splits with Dawson Knox, because when Dawson Knox was playing, he hasn't, whatever, like they're going to run. Dawson Knox is going to play. He got a pretty sizable contract for a tight end. So I do think going into year 2, like it'll probably lean a little bit more Kincaid, just with a little bit more time in the offense. So, you know what I mean? Like having a full off season, but kind of like what Alvin Mack was talking about with Andrews and Likely. I think this is like a real situation where like having a second tight end that will actually play a good amount will kind of eat into his upside a little bit. So I think that's another thing where you can kind of just the talent of Pitts and the uncertainty of leaning into uncertainty of if Atlanta isn't just completely stone cold terrible with their play calling and everything. I think that is
everything.
Yeah, with everything. And then
where's your spot for Brock Bowers? Where do you want him to go in the draft?
Oh my God, the Chargers.
Yep.
Bro, Herbert throwing to Brock Bowers would be absolutely bonkers.
That would be fun.
I mean, because I think the Chargers pick like it's pretty high. I think it's pretty high, and I don't know. Like I think people have been mocking Brock Bowers like top 5. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think like probably like 8 to like 12 to 15 range, like that, like middle third. Probably is probably pretty realistic. I mean, I think like Hawkinson went 8th overall. Who else? Eric Ebron went
like
high.
7.
Like I think
AP was 4. Like
well, Pitts was 4. And I think like everybody knows it. Like he's been on the map since his freshman year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, 3 years ago. So I think NFL, it's not like he's catching anyone off guard, like in terms of talent evaluators or scouts or anything. So I think he'll be pretty highly sought after. So yeah, I mean, I would love the Chargers. I think that would be absolutely sickening. Just
that would be fun.
I'm trying to think where else. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. I'm trying to think who else has an opening that would make sense. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I guess these guys we have on the screen aren't really the teams where we would be hoping he would be going anyways. But
yeah, that's tough.
So who would you have next? Kittle?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Kittle, and then
I would still take Hawkins.
Would you put him in the same tier here in the B tier, or would you put him in this next tier?
Yeah, I think I would keep him in that B tier.
I agree.
Yeah. Obviously, like in a startup, you're taking him. You're probably going to do the productive struggle out the gate and soak up the injured players, soak up some draft picks. Fantastic, because he's he could be able to ball out once he gets back on the field at a position where there's not a lot of difference makers. So that's kind of what you hope for. But again, like I think that's a tough one to learn the hard way too, where like there's always that slim chance that he comes back and isn't who he was before. And like I hate being Debbie Downer on injuries and stuff like that, but that possibility, like you're getting him cheaper for a reason, and it's not just the time lost.
Just super late season, and it was an ACL and MCL. So
yeah,
Yeah, I think you got to basically assume he's probably not going to play much next year.
Yeah.
I think I think you and then I think after that I think ACL MCL it's pretty bad, but if you just got to treat it kind of like a draft pick. Like you're holding them. It's a store of value. It'll bounce back at some point, but I would basically just treat him as like whatever, maybe like a late first round pick where you're just like
Yeah.
you're paying the hold tax, put him on your bench, put him in your IR, and just whatever.
So what you do is you draft Hawkinson first, and then you draft Kelsey later, and let Kelsey play while Hawkinson's out, and you just
Hey, that's really not a bad idea. I actually kind of like that. Yeah. So okay, the next few guys we see points per game. We have Kittle, Njoku, and Engram. I think they're all, let's see, age. Kittle is 30, Engram's 29, and Njoku's 27. And then let's expected points per game. Kittle's at 11.8 and he scored 14.7. So it's same thing as what we were saying with Debo and Ayuk and blah blah blah. He's a baller, so he's gonna outperform his expected points. But I guess the only thing is just whatever, like age. But he hasn't really slowed down, and I don't think tight ends there's a lot of tight ends that have shown like into their 30s they're fine. So
I mean, I almost feel like you kind of have to throw expected out the window with the San
with the
Fran.
49ers,
Yeah, because it's like they're gonna cook. So
same with the Dolphins. Like I forget, like I think both Achan and Mostert had like crazy like fantasy points over expectation. Like,
oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like those offenses that are just humming like that, like you can't really treat them the same. So okay, where would you go next? I think probably for me it's Njoku.
Yeah. Njoku, Engram, Mayer, maybe.
Yeah, I think Engram. I think he benefited from Kirk being out because I think they played pretty similar. Like in terms of like their role, like they're kind of like the crossing route, like middle of the field, like manufactured touch type, like screens and like those kind of. He doesn't really run like deep routes at all.
Yeah.
He just soaks up those middle of the field targets. But I mean, hey, we saw that it was what 16 something points per game. So
Yeah,
if you can get him like
works.
in the 8-9 range, I think, which is probably for Njoku and Engram, I think probably they'll go pretty similarly in terms of Njoku probably slightly higher, but yeah, like 7-8 range.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty solid, honestly.
I agree.
I think
And
like
it's
sorry, go ahead.
it's not fueled by touchdowns too. Like that's what I was gonna say. Like they're athletic guys. That's what you want to see. They're getting the routes and they're getting the targets on the routes. So it definitely seems like year over year production that you can bank on at that position, because once you get past those guys, you don't know. Like it's ugly.
Yeah, I think it's also a note to these are both second contract, first round pick, very, very athletic tight ends. And I want to point you in the Noah Fant direction because
Yes.
I believe he's a free agent after this year. I think I already have a lot of Noah Fant, but I'm gonna try like in every single league, send a third or whatever for Noah Fant because he's gonna go up in value. Like
Yeah, I agree.
100%. He's in
Yep.
a three tight end rotation with Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson. I don't know why. Like I don't know. I think he's good. Like I don't.
Yeah.
He had. I don't know what his points per game were, but he had a couple like pretty solid tight end seasons. He's uber athletic. He was a first round pick, and he's still only like what 26.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the exact same bet as Njoku and Engram. Like some teams probably going to throw him a good amount of money. Tight ends are valuable. I mean, there's not that many good tight ends as we see on this tier
Yeah.
list. Like,
And they're cheap. Like you're not paying wide receiver money for them. So yeah.
so yeah, definitely stash Noah Fant. Hunter Henry is another guy who I would stash. I think he's a free agent after this year. Again, not like I don't think he's in the super uber athletic conversation, but just in terms of whatever, if he goes to a good team where he gets some red zone targets, he always dominates in the red zone. That's really where he eats. But just
Noah
to
Fant on the Dolphins would be pretty sick, wouldn't it?
yo, that would be sick as hell.
Like
No more
voice
Durham Smythe,
casting.
please.
Yeah. My gosh.
I think Mayer would be my next one. I think you said that as well. I think he'll be a big riser as well. I think he looked pretty good. If it wasn't for all these for McBride and Laporta and Kincaid and all these other young tight ends that had super good years, like I think in most years we would like be super jazzed about him. So
yeah, dude had the most like normal tight end rookie season that you usually get out of rookie tight ends. So yeah, I think that, and had some good games once McDaniels was cleared out of there. My gosh. Out of
yeah,
that
no,
team.
I mean he like super talented prospect.
Yeah.
He went right after Laporta in the draft, right? Like I think it was like literally the pick after. Um, but yeah, whatever. Like tight ends don't usually just go absolutely ham the
Yeah.
rookie year. Like we were very I think uh we're very lucky to have all the tight ends that we did this year, but I don't think we should hold that against Mayer
Yeah.
necessarily. He's
No.
he's he's a good player, and I think he will. Whatever. I don't know if he'll ever be special, but like at this price where he is right now, like if you can get him, same thing for like, I think you can probably get him for like a mid-second, probably for in a lot
Yeah.
of leagues. Or
No, I
guys,
think he's got a pretty good runway to ascend too. Because I mean, he could, a decent season, he can kind of clear out through some of those guys in front of him pretty easily, I'd say.
yeah,
If the production's there. Like age and production will put him up into that next tier easily. So
I agree. I think yeah, like same thing. Like if you can send a mid-ish second or like some older player for him, I would think that's a pretty big buy at this point.
I feel like I'm going to be racing against you on making moves after this podcast is over. You just reminded me of all my Noah Fant stuff that I can
Yo, I
do.
know. I was a year early on no fan. I was like, there's no way that like you see a guy that's that talented and you
Yeah.
just don't throw him the ball. But it's
Also, Iowa tight end. Like, come on.
dog. Okay, where would you go next here? Goddard? Like this is I guess it's I don't know, like I wish I almost had like a C in between C and D tier. You know what I mean? Like here, let's see, what can we add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Like I almost want to put like I don't know, I guess
Ferguson and Fryermuth, like, I don't know. Goddard,
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's almost like I see these guys as more like I don't know. I guess it's just same tier but different like goal kind of. Same with B tier because
yeah,
like
but I
these are
mean,
all
what
different.
you're getting out of Ingram and Njoku. Like, I don't think you're really getting much anything dependable out of Goddard at this point, it feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean he's just kind of like back end tight end one, like tight end 12. Because what
Yeah.
are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, like that's literally exactly where we have him tight end 12. Like he's just like, okay, yeah, like I have a tight end, but same with Fryermuth. I think Mayer could like you said, like I think he could ascend a little bit into this B tier with a good season. I think he'll get steamed a little bit and
Yeah.
um I think Ferguson, honestly, you know what? Like, I know people, it's kind of like the same thing as Dalton Schultz. So, and I think people have a little bit of like Dalton Schultz fatigue with Jake Ferguson, where like he's just another white guy who looks kind of similar to him. but I think he's better than Dalton Schultz. Like I think Dalton Schultz was like purely just like a target like absorber. Like he's just like good offense. He's just gonna. And I think Ferguson is like a little bit more talented. Like I think he's a little bit more like has a little bit more juice than that. Like I think it's basically the same bet, but just like plus like a little tiny give him a little tiny boost for that. So
Yeah. The Austin Hooper corollary.
yeah, I mean I think I don't know.
That's the Dalton Schultz thing, is like it just reminds me of like Austin Hooper, where
No.
it's like,
Dalton
yeah,
Schultz is Austin Hooper, 100%.
yeah,
I mean, hey, if Dalton Schultz is on the, I don't have Dalton Schultz even on here because I just wanted to cut it off at a certain point. But I think Dalton Schultz, if he was only on a 1-year deal, so that's the problem. If he goes
yeah.
back to the chart, or if he goes back to the Texans
Texans.
with Stroud, like I think I mean, he might even be ahead of Goddard, honestly.
Yeah,
Like just in terms of they're going to throw the ball a shit ton.
yeah,
I don't know. I still think Ferguson deserves to be in like this tier with these two guys, honestly. Like I think these two guys are more talented real life players, but just like the role for Ferguson is super strong. They're going to be passing the ball a lot, and I don't know. I don't really see them like bringing in another tight end. They drafted Schoonmaker last year. I don't think Schoonmaker's anything special. Like I don't know. And then
I
Cole
think you're
Kmet.
spot on. Yeah, Cole Kmet.
Cole
Spot on with
Kmet,
that take.
placeholder. I mean, hey, maybe he gets a little bit of a Caleb Williams bump in terms of maybe his value goes up a little bit, but I don't really care about Cole Kmet. I don't think I've ever had a single share of Cole Kmet in any league, to be honest. And if I did, I traded him away because someone liked him more than I did. I actually have a league called Cole Kmet Tight End One because someone once traded 2 first-round picks for Cole Kmet.
My
And this was
gosh,
last year.
gotta find these leagues sometime. That's incredible.
Hey, brother, that's why you just got to make your own.
Yeah.
Why do you think I make so many?
I love it.
Anybody else? Like, let's go on Sleeper and see if there's any other late round guys who we think are interesting.
One that jumps to my head is Juwan
Johnson.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think you kind of get into flyer territory where you kind of, the same bet in different ways. Dulcich. Yeah, we can't quit Dulcich.
Dulcich, if you can get him, I would say, yeah, Dulcich, if you can get him cheap, like,
Yeah,
he's probably only worth like, unless, I
third.
mean, I guess he's probably on the team of someone who likes him a lot already, so it'd probably be hard to scoop him away. Like, I'm not selling Dulcich for cheap because I'm just going to hold him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I mean, hey, whatever. If he wasn't healthy at all this year. If he's healthy, I mean, I think he's fine.
what do you make of the Green Bay tight ends?
That's what I was about to say. Musgrave and Kraft. I don't know, man. I think I would just take the cheaper one, probably. Like, I think I'd probably just take Kraft. Just because whatever. Like, I think Green Bay is actually like pretty, like, they're looking pretty good for next year. They were super, super young. Jordan Love, super variable type of quarterback where like he's gonna have some good stretches and bad stretches, but they'll probably be better next year. They'll probably get steamed up with Jaden Reed having a good season, Christian Watson, Musgrave and Kraft both looking pretty good. But I mean, it's not, I don't have anything like, I think I'd probably put Musgrave like right after or like around those guys we were just talking about, probably like right after, like in the next tier. But I mean, yeah, he was good when he played. And I think, I mean, whatever. If Musgrave comes back and takes the role that the Green Bay tight end role, it obviously looked pretty solid, whoever it is. So, yeah, get Tucker Kraft if you can get him for cheap. Now that he's not like, if as the offseason goes on and people aren't like, they don't have the points as much in their head. probably a good buy. I still think Musgrave is a good buy though if you can get him for like a second round pick. I think still has some good upside.
Yeah, totally agree.
Our boy Noah Fant. Yeah, Juwan Johnson. I think same thing. Like he's talented. He's good. And if they don't, I mean, who knows if Foster Moreau and Jimmy Graham and blah 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 and Taysom Hill
Jimmy
and
Graham, my gosh, man.
brother, he didn't he have like a mental breakdown and then he came back and started he scored like 2 or 3 more touchdowns
Yeah,
later in the season.
nuts. Absolutely
Um
nuts.
let's
Love me
see.
some cheap Jelani. He's good.
Yo, that's actually a good one. Jelani next year in that offense. I mean, that, like Kylan Granson, Alec Ogletree, who was the other guy they have? Some Miami tight end. I forget what his name is. Um, but like I mean, obviously it was with Gardner Minshew, so like it's
Yeah,
not necessarily going to carry over, but I mean, hey, it's a big, gigantic. Oh, Mo Alley Cox,
yeah, Mo
like,
Alley. Yeah,
if he gets like if he's the tight end one and he's like running, I don't know if they'll do the same thing that they have been doing for years and years, but if they actually have a guy they like, if, I mean, he's huge and he could catch a lot of touchdowns on a good offense. That's pretty much what you're looking for. So yeah, definitely not another really good bench stash, Jelani Woods, if you can get him for cheap. If people are soured on him, I think
yeah, man.
bet on the athleticism for sure.
Always.
K. Dotton, he's pretty much the most meh tight end ever. I mean, what about Taysom Hill?
I scooped up quite a bit of Taysom Hill in best ball actually, just because I mean he'll have those random weeks where he'll spike for like a top 2 or 3 tight end finish, which is great. Um, Obviously, really hard to manage that in Dynasty when you gotta kind of roll them out in the lineup every week. But I think he's a totally fine late round dart throw.
I mean, yeah,
Plus those incentives. NFL's best contract, in my opinion.
he's getting old. I think he just turned 33, but like, I don't know, like, what can you really like hold against? Like, he's not like,
Yeah,
what's going to stop him from doing what he has been doing? I mean, yeah, I mean, I think he's a good fill in. Like, if you have like an elite, like a McBride or a Laporta or whatever, and you don't have like if you don't have any of those other, um, whatever, just like mid tight end one types or whatever, to like, yeah, just stash a bunch of the guys we were talking about, Noah Fant, Jelani Woods, Taysom Hill, like just so you have a guy you can throw in there. I mean, Taysom Hill can score 20 points in
yeah,
any given
easy.
game. Like it's not any different than any other really tight end that can give you just a dud every week. So um, definitely a good guy to have on your bench. Let's
Yeah,
see,
man.
is anybody else? You know what? Super deep guys, Alberto. Yo, I mean, honestly though, I mean, hey, it's kind of the same thing as it's no fan, but like fourth round pick or whatever.
Yeah,
He's probably on waivers, honestly. But if you I don't hate it. As we're going into
I
the
don't
off
hate it.
season, and another thing is like
When he's 3 players above Rob Gronkowski, that's 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 good.
Will Mallory was the in other tight end I was thinking. Um, but yeah, I mean, hey, there's worse bets to make than super athletic tight ends in off season. Obviously,
Yeah,
in season, like you want to prioritize probably backup running backs and um, whatever. Like you could have like a Demarcus Robinson on your team where you just need somebody to throw into your flex. But I think in the off season, like you don't really want those guys on. That's like a just a macro thing.
yeah,
But like if you have any like guys where you're just using them for points, um, like I think a lot of people just don't really check their rosters, and I'm obviously very active and overly active, so I think I overthink it. But yeah, I mean, just go through and cut some of those guys where like don't just hold them on your roster because they're not storing any value at all in the
yeah,
offseason. Like you can probably drop them now and they'll probably get picked up and dropped like 5 times, and then in season when they're not doing anything, pick them up and whatever. When they're Demarcus Robinson or whoever pops up, then that's when you go and get them. But there's no point in just holding those kind of players. So, yeah, getting like what's it called? Who were we just talking about? An Albert O, honestly, Brevin Jordan. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, he's not anything special, but like if Dalton Schultz leaves and Brevin Jordan is the tight end in Houston,
Mhm.
he could be a usable tight end, like nothing special, but and then obviously bench running backs, like anybody who you think like will probably be on a team, store those guys. And then the big one for me is backup quarterbacks. I've been doing this for a while. I know a few other people that like that's what they do is just hoard backup quarterbacks, but like I'm fine having like 10 backup quarterbacks
Yeah.
on my roster.
Especially
And
after this season, man. Like, you see the value for it.
last year too, though, I forget who, whatever. Like there was a lot of quarterbacks that went out, whatever at the end of the season. Like it wasn't as many as this year, but it's just same thing. Like it's just a store of it's like a lottery ticket, right? Like stack as many backup running backs where they can fall into a role and you can sell them for even a third or something, or you can use their points. And same with quarterback. Like we saw, this was the perfect example of a year where so many quarterbacks got hurt and like they're going to be scarce assets. Like you need quarterbacks. Tommy DeVito, people
Yeah.
were trading thirds and whatever for Tommy DeVito, and
Joe
it's not like
Flacco,
he's
league
anything.
winner.
Joe Flacco, league winner, right? Like, and what is the opportunity cost? Like that's the real like
Yeah.
Kevin Harris, like on your
Dirt
bench,
cheap.
like somebody who isn't going to do anything anyways. So yeah, stack quarterbacks, stack backup running backs, preferably on good teams. Like probably better option. Like if some guy signs with the Dolphins and he's the number 3 or number 4 running back or the 49ers, like I know Jordan Mason, whatever, he didn't really do anything, but like those kind of guys, any other good offense, the Chiefs, the Bills,
Yeah.
whatever,
Take
and
those shots.
take those shots, backup quarterbacks, whoever, they're gonna one even if you have 10 of them and one or two of them gets some playing time and you can either use them or trade them, that's worth it, right? Like you're just playing a numbers game there. Um, Wide receivers, I don't love holding like just bum ass wide receivers, but same thing. Like if they're you kind of look over the situation of the team, see if they have some guys that like either have contracts that are going to be up. Um, you can do a little bit of that, but I feel like it's a harder bet. Um, I think you want to kind of do that maybe when there's rookies or like take your 4th round picks or guys off of waivers. Like Puka and Tank Dell were on waivers. So
Dude, so excited to see how Puka and Tank Dell affect rookie drafts this year. Like,
hey, we might have to go against the stream because I feel like people might take some wide receivers that are kind of not good
yeah,
based on that, and we might have to go the other direction, swim upstream
yeah,
against that. So,
just snag some more running backs. It's good.
um, so what like so I guess another thing I want to talk about with tight ends while we're here is what is like obviously we're both proponents of elite tight end, but like give me like your overall tight end strategy. Like so I'll leave it at that because I don't want to.
Yeah. In startups, for Dynasty, like I want one of those top 3 or 4 guys, or I don't want to take any in the first 10 rounds. I think you can get caught in the middle pretty easy, and I'd rather use those picks elsewhere or trade out, and pick up future firsts in the 5th, 6th, 7th round if it's sometimes it's possible. But yeah, when they've shown that they're elite, like I want to get them on my team and kind of not let go of them. That's my philosophy on it. I think once you get into that next tier, kind of see what happens. Obviously, I am a noted idiot, so I'm just going to keep running into the burning house that is the Atlanta Falcons and trying to rescue Kyle Pitts. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's elite or just cobble it together until you can get an elite one at a discount or something like that. So on those teams where maybe I've got some extra capital or something like that, or some extra wide receivers that are coming up that I could swap out for a TJ Hawkinson and kind of just let that chill for a year. I'd probably go in that direction.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what we were saying. I mean, similar to what we were talking about, like with backup tight or quarterbacks. It's obviously going to be more expensive. It's not the same thing, but I just hoard. I like hoarding tight ends in terms of like they're going to have value because whatever. If there's 12 teams, some guy's going to have whatever. People are going to go down. People are going to age out, like we were talking about with Kelsey and Kittle, and just think it's always good. Like I had a bunch of Andrews teams, and like I had some backup options, whatever, whether it's a Mayer or a Ferguson or whatever, where just you can use them if you need to. You can throw, like, the thing is, it's tight end premium too. You can throw them in the flex if you really need to. If they score whatever 12 points a game or 10 points a game, that's usable, right, in your flex. And who knows, maybe like a Mayer type or even a Fryermuth or something, like they could break out, right? They're tight ends. They um, don't always do well right away, and it's a lot of tight end is situation dependent. So if it does break right, you can trade them if they go up in value, or just use them. So I think that's overall. I like to stack tight ends, and then obviously if I could have one of Laporta, McBride, Andrews on every single team, I absolutely would, and I do don't have very many teams that are not elite tight end teams, but I would say avoid the middle range if you can, but I don't think it's a bad idea to just whatever take one guy if the opportunity cost isn't terrible. If one falls out of that like B tier, if one of those guys falls like a little bit later, take the last one of that tier,
Yeah.
and then stack him with like an Njoku, a Ferguson, a May, or something like that. Because it gives you multiple outs to kind of like just whatever, getting production and also value. So, and then stash all those. We said Noah Fant types.
Yeah, uber athletic.
Those are always good guys to have on your bench. They'll probably go up in value at some point, or you'll be able to use them. And I think that's pretty much it for the tight end conversation. But we'll have to see where Bowers goes. I think that's a big inflection point. I think, if he goes to like a Chargers or someone, or I think Engram has one more year on his contract, I believe. But let's just say I'm not 100% sure on that, but let's just say like Engram is out and Bowers goes to the Jaguars. Like, I think he might go up into that A tier pretty quickly. That was the one thing with my draft where I took Bowers over McBride, which I do regret, but I think just the steam could get real heavy on Bowers.
Yeah. It's always good when potentially elite players go to play with potentially elite quarterbacks or already elite quarterbacks. Like, helps a lot.
Yeah, like if he gets a good landing spot or like gets drafted in the top 10, like he might be going early third, whatever, like pretty quickly. And I also just think, general note, if you are doing startups right now, which probably aren't, but if you're a sicko like me, you probably are.
Already done one so far. Is that what you're in? Just one?
Just one. Well, I wanted to do it. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie. But I also wanted to do it so that I could kind of make a video. I'm gonna make a video next Monday morning, about kind of like general startup strategy. Because this last year I was in such a good groove of like I could kind of plan out my draft. I could kind of know where the pockets were. Like I didn't really want anyone in the 5th round last year, so I would trade out of the 5th round and trade up into like the 2nd, 3rd round, or try to get an extra elite quarterback or whatever because I was willing to miss out on that range. um, but like it's hard to know that without doing drafts and just seeing kind of how the like and we also don't have like any ADP right now. So it's like you can kind of get some values. And then the other thing is I think rookie picks will likely go up in value. As long as you're not with like it depends on the room, but I would say most of the time rookie picks will go up in
Yeah.
value this time of year. Um
This draft is going to be insane. I feel like, like it's going to be good.
like we said, like there's probably 6 or 7 like pretty elite like talents,
Yeah.
um, which will push down some guys that you won't be able to get in like some weaker drafts. Like 2022 was it? Isn't Kenneth Walker going like 102, 103? Uh,
Yeah.
like it was Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, like those like
Yeah.
that's
Olave going like 8 or 9 in some
Olave
places.
107, 108. I mean,
Yeah.
like like O'Dunes conceivably could go like same thing, like 108. If
Yeah.
enough quarter if we already have 3 quarterbacks, we have basically Bowers and MHJ and Neighbors, which we pretty much know are going to be drafted high. And then there's always some wild cards that, right? Like if a couple of those quarterbacks get steamed up, it could push down some really good wide receivers. I think like late round like first round picks, like 110 to 112 are going to be quite solid. Like even
Yeah.
I think even 201, like hold on to your 201
Yeah.
because um I think a lot of
Braylon
guys
Allen could be there.
fuck, I don't know. Honestly, running backs, I like wide receivers, I'm pretty tapped in. Uh but running backs, like I just have I know Braylon Allen, I know Travion Henderson, I know a couple other guys, but I'm just worried they're going to be like a lot of 4th round picks, 3rd
Yep.
round picks. So we'll see.
Somebody said, I don't remember if this name will ring a bell for you, but somebody said it feels like a Bishop Sankey year. It's like the most
Oh, I know
accurate
Bishop
thing
Sankey does,
ever.
yeah. It does. Um,
Yeah.
what was one more thing? There was one more thing I wanted to mention. Um, shit, I completely forgot. But yeah, I think you just like I think this is a good time of year. If you're not already like digging into some of the prospects and stuff, yeah, tune in. We'll be talking about prospects. We'll be talking about dynasty strategy, in terms of like just whatever how to approach a startup in this off season right now, and we'll be talking best ball. It's a little bit of a dead period. I don't do playoff best ball. My brain is dedicated to other things, so I just don't even I don't even dip my toe into it because I'm just like I know I don't have an edge here.
Yeah.
Um, but once I think after the Super Bowl, the big board and stuff will open. So I'm sure we'll be going heavy into that, and I think that'll be good. Like whatever. Like since we're starting now to talk about all these prospects, I think it'll definitely give us an edge in best ball as well, just in terms of people won't even know who people are, and
Yeah.
we'll be like, oh yeah, I know the 3rd round picks already. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, this every Wednesday we're going to be doing a show together, and it'll bounce around. We'll do different topics every week, between Dynasty and Best Ball. But I do want to just quickly, one sec. So just a schedule because I'm trying to be more consistent. Last year I started in May, and I was doing one show every couple weeks or whatever, and L Coach was hopping on a lot, but we're gonna do Mondays at 9 a.m. My work schedule changed, so I can do a little bit of a morning show on Mondays. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. A little bit variable, maybe 9 p.m. depending on what's going on, but 8 or 9 p.m. on Wednesdays. Be ready for some good convos, and then Fridays I'm going to try to get guests on Fridays. So people from around the community have already had a couple big names say that they would hop on, some good dynasty minds, some good best ball minds. So going to try to keep it fresh and give you a good mix of dynasty and best ball, because I think having knowledge of they both like help each other, like we said. So any last thoughts? Congratulations again on your big dub. I'm
Bragging about 15th. I love it. Let's go.
honestly,
I'm happy about it. Yeah.
I was sweating there with you. Like I wasn't even really paying, like I was paying attention to my finals matchups, but I was just like in my head, I was just sweating with you. I was just like, damn, like this would be the sickest thing ever. And on 15th, I mean, hey,
Yeah,
that's like a
dude.
once in a lifetime thing that can happen. So that was ultimate run out. And I think, yeah, like you said, you're still pretty new to best ball. So like I definitely think you're gonna do 150 drafts next year, and we're gonna be talking all off season. So I think you're looking pretty good, sir.
Again, we're going to stick with the linear progression model where we only get better at this. That's that's what we're going to do. I'm really excited for it, man. It's always good to get on here and talk things through with you, kind of go over strategy. Um, Doing the best ball drafts last summer and kind of walking through dynasty drafts last summer was a lot of fun. So excited to see. Best thing about this stuff is we get, it's never going to be the same. Takes are going to be different on players because there's going to be different players in different situations. Team dynamics change a lot. So I'm excited to jump in and be here with you. And hopefully we have a take as good as Sam Laporta, tight end one this offseason. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, who will be our guy next year? We'll have to see. I I don't have a guy yet. You know, I really like there's a guy from Oregon and a wide receiver from Oregon and a wide receiver from LSU who are they're both kind of like I don't want to say Christian Watson types. And you know I love Christian Watson. I'm still in on Christian Watson, honestly. Like he
Oh
got
yeah.
hurt, and I think the what Jaden Reed did at this end of this year, like if it could have, I think it could have easily as easily have been Christian Watson if he was healthy.
Yeah.
But there's two wide receivers that are in the Christian Watson mold, super athletic. Franklin, Troy Franklin, and I forget what Thomas's first name is, but they're both like 6'3", like a little bit skinnier, like 200 pounds, but just absolute burners.
Dude, that's the big difference. I'm sorry if I cut you off, but like the big thing I
No,
noticed about this class so far is like there are some big wide receivers this year compared to the last few years.
bro, so much different,
Yeah.
so much different. Yeah, like this year was all little tiny guys. Like, I mean, other than Puka, I guess, but we weren't really.
And Quentin Johnson.
Well, fuck, and Quentin Johnson. I don't even want to talk about Quentin Johnson. Hey, honestly, hot take here. Like, he's gonna play next year. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think like. I think where he's going to be going, which is probably going to be really late. I'm honestly might be buying some Quentin John, like because it's not
I love
going
it.
to be expensive. It's not going to be
Yeah, no.
expensive. He's going to get routes. Like, I'm sorry, but like the Chargers don't have that much capital to like. They're going to let go of Mike Williams most likely. It's going to be Keenan, and then I don't know. I think Quentin John's going to play. I don't know. I don't know if he'll be good, but at the cost, I think he'll be fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
so hopping into Franklin he's a little bit skinnier, but he's like absolute burner. Same thing as Christian Watson, like can take any play to the house. Deep threat, like good just fantasy skill set to have. And then Thomas, I think, scored 17 touchdowns this year, and that's with neighbors on the team.
That's
So
disgusting.
and he's a same thing, like 6'4", like whatever, 200, 210, something like that. So and it's early, but I think those are my guys so far. And then, I'm gonna have to find my Yoshi of this year, my late round guy that I gotta steam up. So
Dude, we're gonna have to devote like 6 hours to wide receivers, like multiple episodes. It'll be great.
Wide receiver is crazy. This startup I'm doing, like the whole fifth round is like almost all wide receivers.
Love it.
Um,
Incredible.
all right. Well, signing off from both of us, and Happy New Year. Congrats if you had a good season, but a lot of it's variance. If you didn't win your league, if you didn't finish super well, like there's always next year. So keep it positive. Go do a startup draft and be a sicko, and we will see you soon. So yeah, signing off.